Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we're back again with another video about Modok in the new variant quest. And as much as I don't like to admit it, he actually is putting in some decent work in many of the paths. So first off, we're gonna just check him out on Aggression Region path. I have showed this to work with a 3-star captain, but Modok is one of the champions that's definitely capable of pulling it off as well. And the good bit is you can use a 4-star for these fights as well, or a 3-star. Just you need to be careful when eating block damage. But aside from that, 3-star will work exactly as well as the 5-star 550 does. So because we do not rely on damage whatsoever. So this fight basically is the same idea as cap. We need to make sure they build up a decent amount of aggression region, and then once they do, we're simply going to be reversing it all, but this time it's going to look a bit more funny because it's all going to happen in one big fell swoop on his level 1. For those who don't know, during the level 1, Modok completely reverses all regeneration and power gain that opponents are getting. So at this point he's on 20 something stacks. That's a massive amount of regeneration stacks over there. To make sure they get to this large amount of regen stacks on them, you need to kind of get comfortable to punching their block in order to maintain distance and not get cornered. But once you get that playstyle down, and you're gonna have no real issues doing it. It's a lot more difficult than it used to be because of the way AI behaves now, but other than that it still works and it's still fun. So yeah, I think we're about to shoot our level 1 here. So yeah, he's on 37 stacks at the moment, 35, 34, and here down he goes. That was quite funny to watch. But no, that's not what we're going to talk about Modok actually in this video. I just wanted to put this at the beginning because I find it funny. But anyways, we're going to be talking about Mr. Sinister and his synergy with Modok. And what that synergy says is that each time opponent launches special attacks, they become power locked for 6 seconds. And this is extremely useful situation in many different occasions, but especially on increased power gain nodes. It also works with Kingpin, so you can use Kingpin for the increased power gain nodes as well, in conjunction with this synergy. And here we're going to be tackling Hyperion in 1.1 increased power gain using our 4-star Modok. And let's see how we get on there. So as you can see, every time Hyperion launches special attack means he's power locked. That basically makes sure of 2 different things. It makes sure that he's not going to have enough power to launch another special attack by the time we try to punish him, which is good for us being aggressive. And number 2, that basically deals with his increased power gain as well. So as you can see, we can fight fairly fluently. Modok also has reverse power gain on his level 1. That means if you do fail to bait something, you can still save yourself with a level 1 and prevent them from shooting level 3. For most fights, I would recommend kind of like stick to shooting level 1s and only release them once you're close to 2 bars of power, because if emergency comes, if you fail to bait out their special attack, you can always shoot the level 1 and then do a hit combo and do another level 1. In that case, you're going to have several more chances to bait out special attack. But as we can see here, Hyperion's going down and steady, and we do not really particularly struggle baiting out his specials or deal with them, just because he can shoot a lot less of them. Most of the damage we've taken has been from our recoil. It is worth mentioning though that Modok has absolutely god-awful block proficiency, so if you plan to use him for many fights, you're probably going to end up putting some potions into him. Not as much as it would seem in this fight, just because we also were running suicides and recoil, and so we were losing health that way. Next, we're going to check him out against 2.1 increased power gain path that I showed that you can do with Hulk by using stunlock method. But if you do not like to rely on RNG and slightly luck-based play, then Modok is definitely a good option to go. As we can see here, again, level 1 kind of prevents him from gaining power and reverses it a bit, and every time he shoots his level 1 he gets power locked. It means we can just go and attack him to our heart's content. And again, we're using our 4-star just to show that 4-star can still have decent damage output. He can still get the job done. And yeah, we just need to bait out the level 1s like as we do now. And he gets power locked for 5 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever it was. And that gives us time to get some decent shots in, which is one of the major problems against these nodes, because you either end up eating level 3 and in the process you end up hardly doing any damage because you're baiting out specials all the time. With this synergy, you basically just need to bait it out once and then you have a solid window of opportunity to punish the opponent. So that makes the job a lot easier. But yeah, as you can see, we're like, 58 hits in and he's on 30% health. For a 4-star, I don't think that's too bad as well, because his damage output was never his problem. And despite how much I don't like looking at his face while I'm playing, he is still a good option and I have to give him credit where credit is due. But yeah, you can also play the heavy method. That also helps him to deal more damage with incinerate stacks, and that places additional debuffs on opponent in case you need to benefit from Despair Mastery. So that's a viable way to go. And also next we're going to be looking at 2.3 quest. Yes, 2.3, I believe Modok gets a special node. He's one of those Excel champions that do get special benefit in these variant quests. And his benefit is that essentially he can deal shock on every one of his attacks, right? And the reason I want to accent it is just because he benefits from that node more than Hulkbuster and Sentinel does, just because he automatically starts a fight with his flux thing active. That means from the get-go you're going to be dealing shock on the opponent, and that means your damage output in this quest is quite considerably increased. And unlike Sentinel that needs to launch a special 3 first, or Hulkbuster that needs to wait for those armor stacks, it's like ready and good to go from the very beginning. So here again we're using our 5-star Modok just to see how quickly he can shred through these fights. And yeah, and we're gonna launch. I like to use Modok's level 3, especially if I'm running suicides, but typically you will want to keep to your level 1 special attacks, but I just didn't want to eat all the recall attack. But anyways, yeah, and we can, and with Sinister Synergy we can power lock them, be super aggressive, deal huge amount of damage, and when you try to intercept at the wall, the auto block can come in handy as well and save you quite a few times. So he's fairly kind of easy use option in these quests. He's just, yeah, his block proficiency is a bit of a downer, so you need to be careful while playing him overall. And here we're fighting with against Dr. Voodoo and aggression regeneration, and we're not going to be using our level 1 method that I showed at the beginning of the video, but we're just going to be showcasing how well Modok can deal with these nodes and how little Dr. Voodoo is going to be regenning throughout the fight, because of combination of our Despair Mastery with our debuffs that we're stacking up loads of them, as well as the Mr. Sinister synergy that basically puts power lock on them every time they shoot special attack, so we just can be more aggressive than we normally could. So dealing with stuff like aggression regeneration, aggression fury,